You can join in live. Send us your comments whilst we're on air tonight through our live chat. We'd also like you to like, follow, and subscribe to our channel. Our driver tonight in the hot seat is John Cross, and you can send us questions to put to John when he's on air. But in the meantime, I'm joined in the studio by Steve Nottage.
Hello, Shirley, and hello Retro Rallycross world. Lovely to be back. I know we had a bit of a blip last week, but never mind. We're here. We're with you now, and it's wonderful.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, but it's a bit touch and go, isn't it? At times, it's a little bit scary till we get used to it.
I spent ages cleaning the studio, vacuuming and dusting it, so it all looks polished and lovely. So here we go. Can't wait.
And the studio's in Nantwich. And remind me, where are you again, Steve?
Well, I'm in sunny, very sunny Surrey.
So that's some vacuum cleaner you have.
It's a cordless one, yeah.
Okay. So what I want to begin with is to return you to way back when. Now, the last time we were with you, we headed back to the 4th of February 1967. And what I want to do now is to leap forward to 1973. In just 6 years, Rallycross had spread across Europe, and we had our first ever European Rallycross Championship. The first European Rallycross champion was Britain's John Taylor. Now, John began racing in Rallycross by accident, literally by accident, and I'll let JT explain.
In hospital, being mended, put back together again after a horse racing accident, and so I was looking at a TV screen through a mirror because I had neck brace and everything, and in fact the first motorsport event was the RAC of 67 was cancelled because of foot and mouth. Murray Walker doing the commentary, and then in the spring they had the first televised Rallycross. And I'm still lying there, but I'm a lot better now. And the next thing is, when I came out with a friend of mine, we went to Liddon Hill in about April, I think it was, to watch one of these meetings. And I bumped into Rod Chapman, or somehow I got involved with Rod. So he introduced me, he said, I know just the car for you, a Volvo 123 GT. So with this Volvo, I shook the establishment a bit. Anyway, so I started doing Rallycross, and when it was mud plugging, I was quite successful. And then Ford came on the scene, and they were running the four-wheel drive Capri program. And we had a test day at Weeford, with Stuart Turner saying, right, there's two cars, there's a left-hand drive car and the right-hand drive car. You'll each do 1.5 laps of practice, and then you'll do your time runs. There will be no excuses for missed gear changes or what have you, and the clock will tell me all. So I was second fastest to Roger in the right-hand drive Escort, and they were the World Cup test cars for the 1970 World Cup Rally. But in the left-hand drive car, I was 4 seconds quicker than anybody else, never having driven a left-hand drive car in my life before. And when I came in, Stuart was there, and he came up to me and said, can you be in my office on Monday morning? We'll have a deal. So he said, well, right, what we'll do, we'll loan you one of the test cars. So I was loaned the left-hand drive Escort, and I rolled it in the quarry cutting at Cadwell Park on an ITV televised Rallycross. Rallycross was on TV full time. And then Rallycross, we started to go to Europe, Rod Chapman, myself, I think Ron Douglas and one or two others. We started to go into Europe. Rallycross was very new to them. And the next thing is, in 73, they put together a European Rallycross Championship. And that was the first one, which I managed to win. Rod was second. And literally we were a caravan of competitors that went round Europe, and we had Steve Blomqvist, Per Eklund in the Saabs. We had Franz Wirtz, who's Alex Wirtz's father, Herbert Grünsteidl in the Porsche engine VWs. I think the DAFs with the De Roy brothers came onto the scene, and it became quite big. Holland, big crowds, new circuit, Belgium, Germany, Finland, Sweden, Austria. We won the championship. The following year, instead of the cars being self-prepared with Haynes and Maidstone, who were my sponsor, they were the local Ford dealer. I lived in Kent at the time, and they were my sponsor all the time I was with Ford until I retired from driving at the end of '79. You know, as we sort of progressed, I still did a few rallycrosses right up until I think I did the first one at Brands Hatch, which we won, and then I retired at the end of '79. My back had said, "Hey, you've injured yourself enough." An RAC rally in Grisdale, I think it was. There was a big jump, and and I said to Phil, "Oh, this is it." Phil Short was my co-driver, but we managed to get through to the end of the rally, and I think we were 6th or something, which I was more than happy with, very pleased with, and then that was it. I retired.
I never actually tire of listening to those old stories. That's a great one by John Taylor. Now, I am aware that many of you look back on the earlier years and refer to them as the good old days, and nobody gets that more than I do. Well, here's a couple of clips that are going to take you back to 1973 so that you can have another quick look at what we call those good old days.
With the competition ban on the 16-valve engine and the turbo engine not yet ready for racing, only rallycross remained to keep the adrenaline flowing. The Saab stables entered the rallycross scene at an early stage and pioneered the sport in the early 1970s. For the competition management, rallycross was an excellent test bed for trying new features. What a rallycross heat can do to a car in 3 minutes must be seen to be believed. This sport suited Per Eklund down to the ground, and his dashing driving style soon put Per among the spectators' favorites.
The Wills Embassy Rallycross Championship at Lyddon, Kent. Keith Rip driving a Ripspeed Mini number 38. Tom Airy in a Mini number 93. Check seatbelt. Ron Chapman in a Ford Capri number 46. And at the start, John Welch in a Ford Escort number 7 takes the lead. The wet muddy surface is supposed to favour the front-wheel drive Minis. Don Gillam in number 8 is already leading on points in previous rounds. But the conditions don't seem to help everybody. Both cars seem to be having coupler's trouble. Mick Bird in a Cooper S number 76. Keith Rip ripping along. It's a race to the finish, whatever the conditions. Eric Nosey driving Clubman number 18. And Nosey is over and out of the race. And it looks pretty bad for the driver. The cars are right off. But luckily the driver isn't seriously hurt after all. Brian Stabler in a Swift-tuned Mini number 130 is today's winner. Number 43 Ford Escort driven by Ron Douglas, joint third. But it's not too easy keeping on track. Mick Jesty in a Mini number 79 and Rod Chapman's Ford demonstrate a skidding corner. But it's number 8, the overall winner on points. Don Gillam in a Zenith Allen Mini Ford, still ahead in the championship. Well,
doesn't that just show you how far we've come? tonight we're going to be talking to somebody who was actually around, just like I was during those days, Mr. John Cross. Before we speak to you, John, this is something that you people out there may not know, but John wrote this book, John Cross Motorsport, winning since 1973. John, this book was just for your own memoirs. It didn't go out for publication, did it?
No, it was something I did to because I had boxes of photographs and I just wanted to get them all into one place. I only done 2 copies. I was quite surprised when so many people asked if I had copies for sale. Unfortunately, by the time I went back to get some more done, the firm that printed them for me had gone bust and lost all the artwork. So it's something that I'm planning to do at some stage, and obviously if I redo it, we'll include the Stratus as well, because that was pre-Stratus that book was done.
And your journey actually began in a Mark I Cortina, which you raced in the Bracknell and District Motor Club Road Rally. Mark I Cortinas were, of course, a popular choice back then.
Yes, it was my road car at the time. So when I got into rallying, I used the car that I had. I got introduced to it actually by a chap called John Crow, who was big steptoe. My mechanic Mick was the driver, and John Crow, who I worked with, was his.
Is it all right? Right, okay. So also you mentioned a Hillman Imp. Now you say in your book that you did 2 events with a Hillman Imp and 2 rolls. So I'm taking that wasn't a great success then.
No, not really. It was. I fancied a change, and somebody offered me somebody who wanted to buy my Cortina, one of the Cortinas, offered me the Imp in part exchange. So I stupidly took it. Well, let's have a go. And twice it was caused by the same problem. Twice rear uprights braking and just launching the car onto its side. Once onto its side, once onto its roof.
But as you entered into Rallycross, you remained with Ford then in a Mark I Escort. But I remember you having several Mark IIs. I've never known any number other than 99 in a variety of colours. But what inspired you to choose black at one stage?
When I was doing road rallying, which was always on a Saturday night, it was back in the days when Rallycross was always on TV, and we used to watch, in between preparing the car, nipping doors and watch the Rallycross. And at the time, the top drivers that I remember watching was John Welsh, John Taylor, John Button, and who was the other one? There was Ford, John Smith. So I thought, well, I've got the right name with a surname Cross. That must be a sport design for me, so I've got to have a go.
Of is that you were a huge. One of the things I've always been aware of is that you were a huge hit in Europe, especially in Belgium and in Holland. I remember that the Belgian Auto Speed Sport News once said that you were the best known Brit after Margaret Thatcher. How did that feel?
Well, I don't know whether that's good or bad, really, but you know what they say, it doesn't matter what they say about you as long as they spell your name right. So it's good advertising.
JC, we did actually have one question in for you, and I'm a little bit bothered about reading it out. It's come from Richard Taylor, and he says, when confronted about a rather rapid getaway at a Lydden Hill Series final in the 90s. How did you explain a potential jump start when confronted by Mark Flaherty? You're puzzled.
I don't remember that. That's something that, I mean, I usually come up with a good answer, a good excuse for anything I do wrong, but I can't remember that particular thing. So I'm afraid I can't.
You don't know. Well, I'm going to be sure to ask Richard Taylor when we're next at Lydden. I'll get him to remind you then. Right, John, stay with us because I want to bring everyone up to date with the Retro Rallycross Championship. So are you still with me, Steve? Oh, yes, you're there. Our last outing was at Mondelo Park in Ireland. Here's a little reminder of the retro races and also Steve getting Pat Doran's take on his first visit to the Irish circuit in 2002. If we have that clip. Mr. Director, so he only has the Pat Doran interview. Well, that can't be a bad thing, can it?
So here we are in the Mondelo paddock with Pat Doran, who's probably smiling a lot inside, having just won his heat. Pat, good race.
Very good race. Very good race. I'm surprised the pace we have to go now, because these boys around me are really going quite quickly. I was just talking to Towell just then and said the commitment to go around that back between those tyre walls, flat in fifth, is the same experience as in a four-wheel drive car. And I think we're only about a second off the pace, so it's an experience. I was hoping not to have to go this quick. The idea is supposed to be a gentlemanly class.
Yes.
Where some fat old boys can come in and just enjoy their retirement. But it doesn't look like that's happening because these youngsters are now pushing me round.
It's a working retirement, Pat.
It is.
And you're working very hard.
It is. I dread to think what's going to happen when it rains, because I think some little 1600 is going to come past me. Yeah, but no. It's great. I'm learning all the time with this car. And yeah, I'm impressed with the pace of everyone.
Yeah, and it's very dramatic watching the two-wheel drive cars sliding around and doing what we remember from back in the day.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's the same type of stuff. I think that's really uncontrolled, trying to get the car back rather than power sliding. I think we're help. What do we do now? The car's going the wrong way. Yeah, but no, it must look good, especially with the two escorts up the front there.
Oh, there's nothing quite like it, and particularly with the flames coming out of the exhaust as well, and hearing the turbos and the wastegates.
Yeah, but Stuart's Volvo, that's got some grunt. I think he won't like me saying go around his one gear, but what torque has that got? And then his the Chevette. Well, what a stunning looking car that is.
Well, it's a bit dirty now, but it is a stunner.
Close to it. It looks too beautiful to me. So, yes, some lovely cars. And then when we do the other rounds with the TR7s and all just fantastic to be involved with it all.
Yeah, well, we're delighted that you are involved, that you're enjoying yourself. That's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't be here. And I'm still trying my best. It might be not very good, but we still keep trying.
It's very effective today.
So, thank you, everybody.
Keep up the good work.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to Rippler and Retro Rallycross, and well done to everyone. We love you.
Oh, thank you, Pat. We love you too, and we're so pleased that you're in Retro Rallycross and that you seem to be having a good time. Now, that interview was just before the final race in round 4, which Pat actually win, ahead of round 3's winner, Charlie French, in his similar Mark II Escort. So what I'd like to do now is bring you up to date with the standings in the championship. So, in the Retro Rallycross Championship, under 1600 60cc class, we saw a return of Tony Lynch to the series. His wins on both days leaves him lying in fourth place, with Rob Buckmaster still in the lead, but he's being chased by Dan Swayland, and as you can see from there, he's just 2 points behind. So that's going to be quite interesting then, as Tony Lynch gets some more events. So in the Super Retro Championship, Charlie French still leads, but it's only a slight over Pat. Pat trails by just 7 points, and Alan Tapscott flying third. Stuart Emery in fourth place, very impressive in his new car. And so as you can see on the points table there, still early days, still a long way to go. Our next championship round will actually see us return to Liddon Hill on the 17th of August. Before we get to that event, Steve, we are going to Liddon for the first Liddon Legends Festival. Steve.
Shirley, I was going to say that just on what we saw at Mondelo, it's just fantastic to see how young Dan Swayland has improved his driving, with his wonderful Mark I Escort, and so with Tony Lynch returning back, because we were expecting Tony with his Toyota MR2 Mark I, we were expecting Tony to go up to the bigger engined class, the Super Retros, but in fact he's had some supply issues. Haven't there been a lot of those in post-COVID times? And so he's continuing with the engine he's been running the last 2 years, and won the Retro Rallycross Championship the last 2 years. So to see Tony and Dan out on track, along with in this case at Mondelo, Simon and Rob, was wonderful. Looking to see a lot more close racing in the smaller engined class. And of course, if there's people out there who've got cars tucked away, give them a dusting, bring them out. And with the Super Retros, what a wonderful exhibition we saw at Mondelo. With it wasn't just about the Mark II Zach Speed escorts of Charlie French and Pat Duran. We saw some fantastic racing with Stuart Emery getting used to. There we are, just on cue, with his Volvo 242. What a monster, as Pat has already told us, what a monster that is. But he's getting used to it, and we can expect some good things from Stuart, and clearly John, our driver in the hot seat this week. He's got some fantastic pace, and we just want to see some reliability now, and I'm sure John does too. But what an amazing car that is, and he's done some changes to it. Perhaps John might mention that, what he's done over the winter to his wonderful Stratos, and to try and make it handle a little bit better, and perhaps be a little bit more reliable. So as the season progresses, one thing we can guarantee in Retro Rallycross is there's going to be some great racing, and I can't wait. You might be able to tell.
Well, one of the events I can't wait for is the Liddon Hill Legends event. And this event is born off the back of the Lowiac Legends, with whom they formed a partnership. And Liddon will play host to the most magnificent lineup of classic machinery. There's some legendary drivers too, with Mark Renison making a return to Liddon, where he will drive a Ford RS200, alongside Francoise Delacour, who will be piloting Rosie the iconic Ford RS200 of Pat Doran. So you can find details of how to get tickets on the Lytton Legend social media pages and on the Retro Rallycross social pages. So, Steve, do you want to tell me what's in the box?
Well, we can have a little delve, shall we not do that now, and see what's arrived in my mailbox. I'm hoping that the letter will appear in front of us, and there it is. There's Terry Fisher's letter from Tunbridge Wells, and Terry writes, I have been a fan of Rallycross all my adult life. One of the earlier events I remember was, I think, called a Rally Sprint. It was held at Longmarston in 1972. All the great drivers were there. I remember Rod Chapman. We've heard a few mentions of him this evening. He was there, and we used to enjoy watching him race at the Liddon Hill events. We don't hear anything of Rod these days, and I wonder if you could tell us where he is and what he's up to. You're doing a great job and bringing back memories of the early Rallycross days. Retro is real Rallycross to me. Keep up the good work. All the best. Terry Fisher. Thank you, Terry.
Oh, right. Yeah, we have had a few mentions of Rod Chapman tonight. And I'm actually hoping that I'll be able to meet up with Rod when we go down to the Legends event. So, who's that again? Terry? Steve? Oh, yes, Terry. So, Terry, if you're coming down to the Legends, Terry, maybe you'll have the opportunity to see Rod again. That'd be good. Anything else, Steve?
Well, we haven't had much come through the mailbox since the first meeting, our first broadcast, and it's something I'd like to encourage you all. If you have a question you'd like to put to us, or when we've announced who our guest driver in the hot seat will be, if you have a question for them, then please do contact us through the YouTube channel or the comments, and we'd love to hear from you. This is not just about us, it's about you. You love Rallycross, we do too, so let's share our experiences.
Well, I've had an email in from a guy called Dave Wilkinson. He said that he has a challenge for us. He's noticed a picture that appears on my Facebook page, and his challenge to everybody out there is name all of the drivers on the picture. Now, I think we have an image of that. There we are. Now, what I can tell you is that this was taken at Buxtehude by Johnny Loix on the 7th of October 1992. I'll leave it on screen just for a few seconds, but we will actually put it on our social pages in the coming days, and then you can have a look at it then. What I want to do now, Steve, is bring the results of the last competition that we ran. Now, we did have a really good response to that, with people guessing from 8 up to 26. What I can tell you is that according to my records, there has been 28 venues that have run a Rallycross event since 1967. Oh, right, okay, so we're going to show you those across the bottom of the screen. What I want to tell you is that nobody got the right answer, but the closest person was Adam Clark, and Adam came up with 26 correct answers. Adam is, I believe, the son of Roy Clark, who drove his Mini in Rallycross with Roy Boy on the back of the Mini. There was a tie for second place with the answer of 25. That came from Gemma Clark and Barry Morris. All three will receive a Retro Rallycross goodie bag, and we'll be in touch with all of you soon to get your contact details. Well, I think that's all we have for this show, Steve. Unless you have anything else.
Well, I was just wondering what our driver in the hot seat, John, has by way of any final comments that you might have from hearing about Rod Chapman and John Taylor. You raced against any of those esteemed drivers, John?
No, by the time I got into Rallycross, they were stopped. Well, John Taylor. I've raced against John Welsh, Ron Douglas, that from that era, Keith, plenty of times. No, the two already stopped before I started. Oh, and John Smith, I've raced with John Smith many times. Travelled with him a lot to Europe.
We've just had a question in for you, JC. What's been your favourite car you've raced and why? And that came in from Stuart Emery.
A difficult one, really. The most successful one was the X-Track Vesta. Mark II Escorts were the most fun and easiest to drive, but I'm really enjoying the Spark now. It's a real big to drive. It's a challenge, which I'm enjoying trying to master. I can tell you one thing for sure: that car, when I was inexperienced, I'd have had some quite spectacular accidents. Well, I've had a few anyway. I've had a lot more. When there's a thing that always sticks in my mind, I was rallying in the 70s. I watched an interview with one of the works drivers. I can't remember. Probably Sandro Manalo or maybe Beyond Border. One of them was asked about putting the starter sideways in a forest, and his reply was, "It's like throwing a sledgehammer and hoping it's going to land handle first." And that stuck with me, that comment. And when I drove it, I can understand now what he meant all those years ago.
Well, thanks very much, John. Thank you. It's been great hearing your insights and experiences as a driver and joining us in our studio. We've got to the end of the show now. Please do like, subscribe, and comment. The show is nothing without your comments and your involvement. So please do get involved. We'd love to hear from you. And you never know, there could be a goodie bag or tickets for something in the future. It's been great fun putting the show together. Thank you, Shirley, for being the anchor and the bedrock. We thank you as well to Matt Bristow for putting together our title sequence, which is such fun to watch. I love it every time I see it, wondering whether Barry Stewart really can defy gravity going over the jump at Liddon Hill. Well, that's all from us. Thank you so much. We'll see you after the Liddon Legends event, when we'll have more content for you. So until then, bye for now.
Bye for now.